By any standard, Bradford Bishop was a man of many accomplishments. With an Ivy League education, 2 master's degrees, and a desirable career. What do you know about Brad Bishop?
So Brad Bishop was a Foreign Service officer, highly intelligent, knew 5 or 6 languages, seemed to have this all-American family, high school sweetheart, 3 good-looking kids, traveled around the world, belonged to the local tennis club, just appeared to have it all.
But according to police, that wasn't enough for Brad Bishop, and they believe his entire family paid the price. I mean, this is a guy who has no past criminal history.
Correct.
Someone who is, to your knowledge, hasn't committed any other murders, and one day allegedly snaps and kills 5 family members. I mean, how does that even happen?
Horrific. That's the only way I can describe it.
But Bradford Bishop has yet to pay any price for his heinous murders he's accused of committing, allegedly killing his mother, wife, and his 3 young children. He is gone, vanished into thin air. And with his knowledge and credentials, this suspected mass murderer could be anywhere. On the other side of the world, or in the checkout line right in front of you. Where do you believe Brad Bishop is hiding out?
I don't know, but I think he's out there in plain sight. I don't think he's actually hiding.
Society.
He's blending right in.
Bradford Bishop, an ambitious Foreign Service officer with a resume and career that took him to all ends of the earth for the U.S. State Department.
In Botswana, he was actually the Deputy Chief of Mission, which was a fairly high-level position. And he was doing whatever State Department guys do.
He was the head of a loving young family in Bethesda, Maryland, near his Washington, D.C. office. Sharing a home with his wife Annette, his mother, and 3 small boys ranging in age from 14 to 5 years old. Montgomery County Detective Brian Stafford says they had a lot to live for.
He was a handsome young Foreign Services officer, apparently on the rise. She was a young, attractive woman. They were having kids. By all accounts, the kids were wonderful kids. She was devoted to them as far as we know.
But little did anyone suspect the time bomb that was Bradford Bishop, a man obsessed with his career and reportedly under treatment for severe depression. It all boiled over the day he was turned down for a much-coveted promotion. And investigators say Bishop snapped, flying into a rage, aimed not only at his employers, but his unsuspecting family.
He purchases what's called a sledgehammer, but it's not the big 2-handed kind. It's a small, like 9-pound sledge.
How were they murdered?
Apparently it was through blunt force trauma.
With that small sledgehammer?
The wounds were considered to be consistent with that type of a tool. The boys were apparently killed in their beds, so I would imagine he would have had to have killed Annette first, because I can't see him having killed 3 other people in the house with her being awake in the house and not knowing that.
And what was the crime scene like?
The crime scene in the house was pretty bad. It was very bloody, as you can imagine it would be if somebody had killed 5 people in the house with that mallet.
Police say Bishop then loaded the bodies into the family car and drove 500 miles south to a remote area in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park in North Carolina and got a shovel. So he took the time to bury,
He took the time to dig a grave.
To dig the grave out.
And then he took the time to pour the gasoline on them and to light that on fire.
I mean, this was well thought out.
It's not that he went home, murdered his family with an implement that was on hand there. When he purchased those items, it was his intent to use that hammer to kill them, and he purchases a gas can and purchases gasoline. So it seems to me consistent with the theory that at that time it was his intention to try to burn the bodies.
And the story might have ended right there in the wilds of North Carolina, if not for a couple of alert Park Service rangers who spotted the smoke from afar.
So they called it in to the Forest Service, and the Forest Service dispatched one of their rangers to see what the smoke was all about. And that ranger found an area, burned grass, and a shallow grave with what turned to be 5 bodies in it.
From there, Bishop vanished, leaving his car and plenty of calling cards in his wake, now in the possession of police.
We are inside the evidence room here at Montgomery County Police Headquarters, where we will get a first-hand look at all the evidence in the Brad Bishop case. What is significant about this shovel? What are the important markings on it?
Well, the most significant thing is probably the sticker here, which is the sticker that labeled the shovel as coming from Poke Hardware. And the investigators in North Carolina were able to track that down to a store in Montgomery County and make the initial link between the gravesite.
And it's charred here, and so
Yes.
that's from the fire.
Yeah, you can see some charring on it here that would have occurred with the fire at the gravesite.
What we have here,
This is the gas can that was recovered from the gravesite in North Carolina,
Craftsman.
the Sears Craftsman, and it's a 2.5-gallon can, and that's consistent with what Bishop is known to have purchased at the Sears immediately before he killed his family.
And this actually had his fingerprint on it.
This is the can that they recovered his fingerprint from, yes.
Unfortunately for the law, it took a few days for them to directly connect the remains of charred bodies with Bradford Bishop. By that time, he was long gone, and the manhunt for the suspected cold-blooded killer was on.
There's no doubt in your mind that Brad Bishop is
Oh, no.
responsible.
Oh, no, absolutely not. For me, Brad Bishop did it.
Next, a Crime Watch Daily exclusive with the man who knows where to find Brad Bishop because he's seen him face to face.
I said, "Hey, you're Brad Bishop, aren't you?" And he looked at me and said, "Oh, God, no."